Nigeria and the welfare and the well-being of Nigeria is the central focus of Nigeria foreign policy. If it is not good for Nigeria, we will do it. How can you subscribe to something that you cannot participate in? How can you have a free market where you only buy but you have nothing to sell? And the only thing we have to sell is crude. And that crude is not determined competitively. It is determined by some forces in the West, whether the president of US is sick or whether the publish of data, it shows that economy is slowing down, that affects the price of oil, whether China is growing or China is slowing down, and all of that.
Sometimes when you hear our leaders talk, you will understand that knowing what to do to improve the economic situation of this country is never a problem, but doing it has been a serious issue for them. Or is there actually an unseen bad hand that is always influencing them to do their bidding instead of doing the exact thing which they are being elected to do in their various offices? Because sometimes I used to be confused how some of our leaders, we see them making a lot of sense now, but before you know what is happening, boom, they will go back to the same status quo that has never been helping us before. Can you imagine how Oshiomhole described the issue of foreign policy and how it affects us as a people? Which I'll play you the full video. Now, during his speech, he said, why must we keep implementing foreign policy at the detriment of the people which they are elected to serve, but to the benefit of foreigners? Why should we keep electing president if there should be unseen hands controlling things in the inside? And he used China as example, which he said that China used to go to foreign meeting and all that, but after the discussion, they will take it to their country, Beijing, and discuss it first and see how it is going to benefit their people. And if they want to implement it, they will do it in such a form that it will benefit Chinese citizens more than others. And when they are being asked, they will tell you that they are being elected to serve Chinese citizens more than others. And that is why he keep looking as if China is always living in the future. And he continued to say that the amount you change dollar in China hotel is the same amount you will change in the bank, because there are price control, there are price regulation. In fact, listen to Oshiomhole and let me know what you think on the comment section.
Liberal economic policies have failed Nigeria. I want to be able to see the president saying, yes, Africa growth, we have disagreements, but I am elected to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not of Africa Charter. We would relate with other countries. The days must be over where we talk of Africa as the centerpiece of our foreign policy, and way to one in which Nigeria and the welfare and the well-being of Nigeria is the central focus of Nigeria foreign policy. If it is not good for Nigeria, we will do it. How can you subscribe to something that you cannot participate in? How can you have a free market where you only buy but you have nothing to sell? And the only thing we have to sell is crude. And that crude is not determined competitively. It is determined by some forces in the West, whether the president of US is sick or whether the publish of data, it shows that economy is slowing down, that affects the price of oil, whether China is growing or China is slowing down, and all of that. We started borrowing. And to encourage us to borrow more, economists tell us about how much you can borrow in relation to GDP. They'll always have some statistics as if this were in the holy documents. And so we borrowed to a point that they now came back to say, you have overborrowed. And for us to support you, you must devalue your currency. You must float it. Thus subsidize consumption. And when you devalue, your home goods and services produced at home will be cheaper, and therefore you have greater export opportunities, because Nigeria made goods we find cheaper prices overseas, and foreign goods will be too expensive for the natives to buy, since we are now in our native land, and because they can't buy, we will go to have a more realistic balance of trade. And that is how around 1978 or so, the naira was devalued from where it was 1 naira to 1.5 US dollars. When I went to UK to pay my school fees in the UK, I got my check from, I believe, Barclays Bank, which is now Union Bank. And I said, if indeed there is such thing as a visible hand, why do we elect a president? Why do we elect a governor? The market by its nature is not accountable except to the buyer and the seller. But we elect governments that are accountable, that we should be held responsible for our collective well-being. I think that if we take a critical look at where we're coming from, Nigeria was at its best when, I believe sensibly, and when we celebrate China, we just look at the outcome without looking at the system that produced that outcome. The Chinese also go to the World Bank. They also go to the IMF meeting. They listen. When they finish, they say thank you. They go back to Beijing and do what they call capitalism with Chinese characteristics. The interest rate is not market driven. The rate you change your money in hotel is the same rate you change it in the bank. I know it because I have been there. That is not market forces. That is state regulation. And when a state functionally abuse power, they execute, they kill. And so, without following Western models, China has become, over a period of 50 to 20 years, they had double-digit growth consistently, not based on market liberal models. When Washington insists that the Chinese currency is overvalued, the Chinese reply, it is not the foreigner who will tell us the value of our currency. In Nigeria, our people will go to the World Bank and IMF, they will tell us what they think we are. And we celebrate that 50, what they call them now, they are these funny, not funny names, well-known names in West, that they have given us B+, B-, B+++. What the hell does it matter? We are to rate who we are, not foreigners. And until we return back to this homegrown policy and damn the consequences with the world, because they are going to fight us, I do not think that romancing with them is going to deliver us. No, it will not. And they will turn around to accuse us of corruption. And yet every kobo stealing are kept abroad is in their banks. But they are not corrupt. If we recognize that we were at our best when the Nigeria state make policies that are informed by the Nigeria condition, then let us revert back to that. If we don't, free market, these liberal, neoliberal economic policies that Amadi was speaking about, can never deliver prosperity to the majority of our people.
You get the point now. When it comes to implementing foreign policies here, I don't even know if the people are being considered at all. And the biggest issue is that these same people you see making a whole lot of sense when it comes to action time, the evil hand, or should I say the bad hand, will also sweep them aside. And they will begin to say different things altogether. Look at what just happened in Samoa agreement. If not that everybody raised alarm, what do you think could have happened? In fact, share your thoughts with me on the comment section. And don't forget the Bible. Click on that subscribe button, follow, and share for more updates. Because like this, hey, we move.